So thank you. I'm so humbled and honored. My name's John Kagan, and about a month ago, I went out and talked with Todd, Single D, and said, "Hey Todd, I did a talk to my Rotary Club. I kind of did a show and tell about a cross-country trip I did, and folks really thought it was kind of neat, and we had a good time. You think that would be something that we should do at the shop?" And he said, "John, I don't know. The people at Rotary are going to be different than the people that come to this. These folks are hardcore bikers, and they've all done this before." So I said, "I know that. Well, let's call it the Idiot's Guide to a Cross-Country Road Trip." And really the purpose of this, it is a show and tell, but it's more a, if this guy can ride from here cross-country and back a couple times, then anybody can do it. So let's start with that, and this is where it all began for me. I know you guys have been riding for a long time, so have I. I got my first bike when I was 16. This is it. It was a 1980 Honda XL100. I had a lot of bikes in between then and now. Like a lot of you guys, I did about 12 years with no motorcycle. I made, my sons here, I made a couple boys, and they did okay, and my wife finally said, "All right, you can get a bike again." So my current bike is this. For those of you that don't recognize it, it's a GS, but it's a GS in an unusual color. They don't come in desert tan unless you're Courtney. This is Courtney's old 2013 GS, liquid cooled in desert tan. I stole it from him about a year ago, and I've been riding it like it's stolen ever since. And I tell my kids, I've always told them that you love people and you like things. I'm having to make an exception with the motorcycle. I really almost kind of unhealthily love the damn thing. But anyway, let's go. I think next is a video.
Is that Barber, John?
See?
Is that Barber?
That was at Barber's,
Barber,
yes.
yeah.
Yep. Now this, I'm going to have to go to YouTube for it. This is one of the trips. Let's see, my kid set me up, but I'm going to screw it up. Here we go. All right. In the last, let's go full screen. Here we go. In the past 3 months, I've taken 3 kind of cross countries. The first one was out to California, partial business, partial pleasure. A month later, went out to Utah for a BMW rally, and a month after that, went up to Buffalo area for the international rally. Anybody go to Buffalo for the MOA rally? Oh, it was a great time. This was chasing a Harley guy for a little while out on the $1 Million Highway out in Denver. It's between Durango, Colorado, southwestern Colorado, up north to about Silverton. Yes, sir. Beautiful, beautiful road. You can't really see, but it sort of drops off. There's a sort of. Yeah, it's spectacular, and this is why we go cross country. You know, Florida's a really neat place to live. It's wonderful to not have any snow to have to shovel, but as far as riding, it's pretty damn dull. But Colorado's not. Now you don't have to guess where this is. Anybody know the song?
That's the Kinks, 20th Century Man.
You got it. It's the Kinks. An old guy like, well, we're all old. That's the good thing about this.
I know. I got older sisters. Before I got it.
So the first ride, I went out to California. I had to stop in Las Vegas. I had actually work. I had a financial conference out there for a few days. Did that and then continued out to California where my wife flew out and met me. We hung out and did Yosemite, and then I came back. Anybody ridden this road? That's something, huh? You don't need no stinking guardrails. We'll get it going. I don't want to bore you and keep you too long. Alright, that's the next.
I need to be.
Alright. call. Is there a resume? I guess we'll just go
Go
here.
to the top, it says.
All right, here we are, the GS Giant.
I think you're playing the other video.
I am, aren't I? I'm back on PowerPoint. Sorry about that. I brought my son because I love him, but he also is my tech guy.
Designed by folks on the US.
I feel like that commercial with the old people that gave all their technology to their grandkid. Okay, real quick commercial, I'll be real quick. I'm a financial planner. I've been in practice for about 17 years. Love my job. I am honored to hold the place in my clients' lives that I do. About a year ago, I decided that I'm going to combine my purpose, which is my career, with my passion, which is motorcycling. And I just rebranded my company to Next Adventure Wealth Advisors. I've got some stuff on the table. If anybody ever needs anything, that's what I do. That's all I'm going to say about that, like Forrest Gump says. And we'll move forward. All right, pre-flight. Before you take off on these trips, I flew helicopters for 10 years in the Navy. And so pre-flight was really important to me. You know, you got to plan. Moto Man here, the reason I put that there is if you're taking off on a 6,000 mile trip, the service interval on a BMW is 6,000 miles. So you either have to get your maintenance done before you go, or you got to figure on where you're going to get it done mid-trip. And on my first trip, I needed to get it done in Las Vegas. Unfortunately, I wasn't smart enough to call Las Vegas BMW and say, hey, can you guys do my 24,000 mile maintenance? And they said no, I couldn't get in. So luckily I had it done in Fresno a couple days later. It worked out. But don't be like me. If you're going to go cross country and you need maintenance done, call in advance and make sure that they can do it. I put the tire here because also if you're going out for 6,000 miles, there's a good chance that you're going to need to change a tire. Probably just one. This is a prop here. This is actually the tire from a Husqvarna dirt bike. But on my last trip out to Utah, my front tire looked like it was going to need to be replaced. And you're on the road. If you've got a favorite tire, you're not assured that you're going to get that particular tire on the road. So you might want to think about bringing one with you. And it's not that big a deal to attach it to the bike. The weather is the biggest thing. Again, I flew helicopters off of boats in the middle of nowhere, and the weather, helicopters, there's stuff going all over, and you think they're going to self-destruct, but most of the time what got us was the weather. And the same thing is true with the motorcycle trip. So on that first trip cross-country, I thought I had it all down. I was looking online, and every waypoint, I had the maximum temperature, the minimum temperature. I was set. I knew if it was going to rain or snow or what. And the night before, I actually went on TV and looked at the Weather Channel, looked at the big picture, and saw, holy shit, there's a huge snowstorm going through southern Colorado and southern Utah, exactly where I hoped to go. So the next morning, everything's completely changed, which was fine, but if I had looked at the big picture early, I would have known that, and I learned that for the next trip. Butler Maps. Anybody use Butler Maps? They're awesome, aren't they? These guys sell them, and the cool thing about, well, I talk about GPS. I like the GPS, but I don't plan trips in it. The GPS is a neat thing that tells you, hey, I'm here. I know I'm here right now. But as far as planning a trip, for me, I'm not smart enough to use it to plan a trip. I still like maps. I love maps. And I like the regular Rand McNally for the big picture planning. But once I know, hey, I wake up, I'm here, I know that at the end of the day I want to be here. If you get a Butler map, which again they sell here, Butler makes these maps for motorcyclists, and they don't have them in every state. They only have them in states with interesting roads. And what they've done is they've coded every road by interesting factor. So what I did, I'd wake up in the morning, I know I'm here and I need to be here by the end of the day. I knew that I wanted to hit as many Butler G1, the yellow color-coded roads, as I could. And folks following at home on Spot saw I'm doing all this crazy stuff. You know, I'm taking way too much time to get from here to there, but it's because I'm looking for the most fun roads. And Butler is a way to become an instant genius on where it is to find good roads. And speaking of instant genius, I'm instant idiot. Oh, here we go. Okay. All right, so let's see what's next. Oh, this is pretty cool. All right, this is, again, I was going to ask if you knew where it was, but my YouTube video is going to tell you. This is a fun story. On the second trip, after California, the next ride was, I knew I wanted to go somewhere, I wasn't sure where, so I grabbed the MOA magazine, Owner's News, and just in the back it lists all of the rallies. And I knew I wanted to go somewhere in June and wanted to go west. So I found this one in Panguitch, Utah. Have you been?
Is that the Moki Dubway?
That's not. Somebody else asked me that. This is the Burr Trail. Take a look at that. It's nuts. It's the Burr Trail out, it's in southwestern Utah, and it's in the Capitol Reef National Park.
Very rough road.
Oh, it's awesome. It's gravelly. I wouldn't take anything but something GS-ish.
Maximum speed 35.
Hey guys, the rest of the pieces here.
But it was fantastic. What I tried to do to make it interesting is look over the side. The only problem with that is, you know, you heard the bike tends to go where you look, so I didn't look for too long.
Who's with you, John?
I met these guys. I went to that rally and just found guys to ride with. That's the neat thing about these rallies is you just meet people. But it was absolutely spectacular. The coolest road I've ever been on. Anybody been here? You haven't? Cool. Of course you have. You probably went a lot faster than me. I went with 3 guys. There was one guy behind me on a 1200 GS and a guy on an 800 GS in front of me. And I wanted to pass him so bad, but I kind of wimped out. I'll tell you the rest of the story in a couple slides. This was the most fun part of that trip out to Utah. It got kind of tragic in a little bit, but I'll skip to that in a bit. These are all, I'm going to just skip forward just to keep things moving, but I've got a YouTube channel that all this is on. And I guess, Colin, how's that work? John Kagan, they just...
Yeah, you just search John Kagan on
search
YouTube.
John Kagan, and all of these are there, if you care.